Hey guys, welcome back to the Lit Mag Lab podcast. I'm Vevna Forrow, yeah? So previously, I was showing you around another web journal, Poetry Online, right? Also known as poetry.onl. So check back that episode and yeah, so I was showing you, some things I liked about, the website and just discussing it. And this is going to be another episode like that, right? So today, I'm on New Ohio Review. Now, for those of you unaware, I'm just going to read what they have on their site again. So, New Ohio Review is a national literary journal produced by Ohio University's creative writing program. Now in its 19th year, NOR has been the recipient of a National Endowment for the Arts grant and support from the Ohio Arts Council. And it says here, work from our pages consistently appears in the Best American Series and the annual Pushcart Anthology. So yeah, then they discuss a little bit, as you can see here, right? Their print issues, appear in the fall, spring, and yeah, they've done tons of issues, and I think that's really amazing that they've been around for 19 years. So that means they were founded right in 2006. So yeah, this is a prime example, of a literary journal that has ties to a university, and not every single literary magazine or journal existence is, of course, right, connected to a university or college or a program of some sort. So you know funding for universities, I know for other ones, not New Ohio Review, I'm not aware of anything like that, but perhaps I don't know. But there are some places that had their universities cut funding, right? And then I'm sure that the NAA was affected, right, funding this year too, for a lot of places, right? And yeah, so it's tough, right, for this year, especially for a lot of literary journals and things like that. So they really rely on their subscribers, support, and the university, right, too. All of that, right? Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure what their funding looks like or things like that. I'm just describing in general, like in the literary arts community, what I've seen from other literary journals produced by like universities, creative writing programs, or tied into that. So yeah, I actually, if you're wondering why I chose New Ohio Review to share with you today, so I actually have ties to Ohio. I graduated from Bowling Green State University, which is based in Bowling Green, Ohio. I didn't attend physically, but I did their virtual classes and things like that, and finished up my 4-year degree. And yeah, I'm originally from Minnesota again. I also have additional ties to Ohio in the sense that my parents met in Ohio, right? They met in Walsh University, of all places, right? Ohio, right? So a lot of ties in my family, back to Ohio. It's just interesting how we all ended up attending universities based in Ohio at some point in time in our lives. And my parents met there. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, I think New Ohio Review is awesome. I've submitted to them in the past myself, by the way. And I think in place of, a reading fee, what they do, I'll show you guys. And some places do this, by the way. Yeah, so let's go here, and I'll come back to their website in a bit. So if we go to submit here, right, you see they have their deadlines here. I'm not going to go through it again and things like that. But they have their submittable page, right? And yeah, so a lot of times, right, they have guidelines on their website, and also general guidelines, again, repeated and expanded details too. So the format, all of that. But look here, so this is for subscriber only submissions. Now this is what I mean. So sometimes literary journals have call windows for subscribers only. And yeah, New Ohio Review totally has, again, submission windows where it's for others who aren't subscribers. But for this particular call, it is for subscribers only. You can see here, right? This category portal is for subscribers to New Ohio Review only. And yeah, so you'd have to, circle back if you're interested in submitting to them, to their non subscriber windows. But yeah, they do, let's say, you subscribe, right? And yeah, I mean that once you're a subscriber, you can submit, right? That's what they're basically saying, I believe. So yeah, so you have to have a subscription with their literary journal. And basically what happens when you do that, when you subscribe to a literary journal, right, in place of a reading fee. I mean, you're still paying a fee, but what you get, let's say, I think theirs is $16 for the year, and then a renewal, is it $8? I can't remember exactly. I think it's on Chill Subs. I'll go back there in a couple minutes. But so, in the mail, I got like issues, right, in the mail after doing that submission, by becoming a subscriber, right? 1 year subscription. I didn't end up renewing mine, but in the process of submitting the places, I did have some subscriptions, and I did that instead of like, a general reading fee, right? Because that was an option there, right? And yeah, so you may come into contact with places that do that, right? They said, get a subscription, you get issues in the mail too. Some places do that, like physical issues, or some I've seen do digital issues too in your inbox, I think, as well. But yeah, so we go back to Chill Subs here. I'll just show you. So sometimes literary journals, you know, I just saw it there. I think it's because I accidentally typed. Okay, so yeah, you can see it's here. So sometimes literary journals, right? You can see it says closed here, but they do have a call open. So sometimes they don't, put everything, every call that they have open on, you know, on there. So you can see that they had, calls in the past here, that are created, right? And the next open dates they have here, I don't know if this is accurate or not, but in any case, right, you see they still have, subscriber submission calls here. So yeah, so just keep that in mind, not all the time this is, um, reflective of, the place being open or not. If you're like an existing subscriber, I don't know if it applies to, you can, become a subscriber and then submit. So I don't know. So I think this applies only to existing subscribers, but it says here, if you'd like to subscribe, check the subscription options elsewhere in Submittable and see our guidelines before you submit as well. So I think it could be for existing subscribers or those who, want to become subscribers and can submit. So I'm not entirely sure. So if you're ever unsure, like me, like on guidelines, you can always ask, right? They usually have contact information on their website or somewhere just to clarify, Um, so assuming it's stating that, because it says if you'd like to subscribe, right, choose the subscription option in Submittable. And yeah, so there is a fee, right? So these aren't, it's not, you either have to be an existing subscriber, or I believe you would have to subscribe to them to do this particular call. But they do have other windows that aren't like this, I believe. So I can't remember when I submitted with them what exactly it entailed, but I just remember I did do a subscription option, So yeah, I have some new Ohio issues at home, I think 30 and 31. And yeah. Let me go here. I think I have a window open as an example for you guys. So this is what it looks like, right? Subscriber submissions only. So you can see here, right, the title, cover letter, things I've shown in the past. So see, it says renew your subscription for 1 year. So yeah, I think based on that, it's for existing subscribers only. And then they have the option to renew their subscription for another year. So that's what I think. Yeah. So yeah, anyways, that's what some places do, right? Some calls like this, and that's a great way to, all of that, what they're getting from the subscription, right? They allocate that back to the publication totally. So it's expensive to, send out issues to others, right? Those who provide copies to others, all of that, it's costly. So yeah, yeah. So let's go back here to the this website here. No, I'm going to go back to their website. Yeah. So back here on their website, right? So let's go to their homepage. So you can see they have a summer online exclusive. That's really cool. So you can, read this. I think this is free to read. I'm not sure. So yeah, they even have audio too on their poems. I won't scroll through all the way, but I like seeing that. It's cool to hear poets' voices and audio reads. I think that's really nice. So something else I really like about their website, and I believe they have a WordPress based website. Reason being, I saw a WordPress icon at the bottom, and yeah, I know quite a lot of lit magazine journals are on WordPress too. On the back end. Poetry Online, the one I showed you before, I think they're on Squarespace. So whichever place, if you want to start a lit magazine journal, whichever site creation platform you want to use, just make sure you're comfortable with it. There's so many options out there. you know for a lot of others, it's going to come down to cost. And I think WordPress has a lot of cool plugins, apps, and templates you can use. Yeah. So I we all have our fave site creation space. So just if you're thinking about starting one, keep that in mind. There are a lot of out there. I'm not gonna not gonna do an episode, I don't think, on WordPress versus Squarespace versus all the other ones out there. Yeah. But yeah. So in here, we'll go to past issues. So you can see they have it all, laid out here, right? These are the two issues I have at home. So yeah, I think that's really cool, how they have it laid out. And what I really like is this by topic section. So we have something similar to this at Dippity Lit Mag and a few other Lit Magazine journals by topic, but not as many topics like this. I really like their layout, so you can look up, poetry by topic. That's really nice. I like it, it's very organized, and I like this layout. I really do. So that's great. Then you can go to book reviews, interviews, and yeah, and yeah. So that's really nice. Music and family, dreams, nightmares, and yeah, art, and yeah. So I think that's having that out there in columns, poetry, prose, all of that, right? Interviews, segmented. Everything's very easy to find, and there's also a search, right? You can search for things as well. So I think that's great. Let's see what happens when we search. I'm just curious. I'm actually gonna type poem. Let's just see what happens when I search poem. So yeah, collected poems of Stanley Plumley, and yeah, they have other ones here. So yeah, I'm not going to go through every single, nook and cranny of the sites, but just the things that stick out to me a little bit. So they have a features section, so that's cool. Yeah, so they do have samples for others to read from their issues, and I think that's nice. I don't like seeing everything paywalled from journals and things like that. I think it's important to have samples that others can read, and really get an idea of what the journal is looking for a little bit, and to read past publications from issues. So yeah, they have a subscribe, news and announcement section, and contests, winners, all of that stuff. They keep track of their push cart nominees. You see, everything's very organized. Let's see if they have. So if you go to about again, you can see I didn't scroll for. I can't remember if I scrolled all the way down, but you can see the editor and managing editor, assistant editors. They have all the names there, so that's evident, and that's great. So yeah, you always again want to read guidelines very carefully, for contest and all of that stuff, right? And they have their contest judges and everything. So sometimes literary journals have guest judges, and even guest editors, right, on issues and things like that, to pitch in and help select winners. And that's great. I think involving others in the writing community and poetry community, it could be short stories too, or art even, but involving others in those contests, I think that's fun too, and very cool. And yeah, they have some cash prizes, it looks like, too, for their contest and stuff. So again, there are places out there they're not, entirely fee free, right? That it happens, right? Funding is tight for a lot of places. I understand, but yeah, I still think New Ohio Review is very cool, and I know I say very cool, very awesome, like 6, 7, 8 times, but yeah. I really like New Ohio Review. I follow them, and yeah, so check them out. Whether they take international submissions, I can't recall. So I'm not sure. You may, if you have a question about that, a question we get a lot, in our inbox from time to time is like, do you take international submissions? So, I tried to put that in a couple places on our website, at Dippity Lit Mag so others can find that. But it's still like a question that comes up from time to time. But yeah, so if you're not sure about that, location, some places have location restrictions and stuff, right? When you're submitting, like I've seen some, if you have to be from the state, right? I've seen some Texas only literary magazines, for example. I've seen some, Canada based magazines that say you have to be Canadian to submit, right? And there's some that totally, allow international submissions totally. There's tons out there, across the United States, international submissions that intake them, and even a couple in Canada that I've seen. So you just have to read carefully or ask if you're not sure. Yeah, so check out New Ohio Review, if you're listening to this, see a little bit about their issues, read more if you're interested. I think they do a great job. I enjoyed the issues that I had, from my subscription. Of course, I would, renew my subscription if I could. I just can't, I would love to subscribe to a bunch more, literary magazines and journals out there, but, cost add up, right, with all the subscriptions we have, all of that stuff. So we do what we can, it's cool to pick up an issue or two now and then, and to follow the series of many, lit magazine journals. So yeah, so check out NOR or NOR, New Ohio Review. Yeah, just wanted to do a quick overview on it. Most of these episodes will be under, 25, 30 minutes. Some of them may be even a couple minutes. We'll see. I'm not sure. So I just discuss things that stick out to me about sites and what I like about them, and other things. So yeah, if you like this series that I'm doing, let me know. And take care, guys. Again, again, Chill Subs is great for, finding out acceptance rates of places. They don't have the editor reported data in here, but look, it's like 3.7%, guys. And I think it's even lower than that, perhaps. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But it's challenging, to get acceptances in the lit mag world for sure. You got to keep trying. Yeah, so again, there's additional info here, right? And average response tracker stats and stuff on Chill Subs. And one more thing, guys. So you may have noticed here, right, on the submit page that they do take submissions by mail, but New Ohio Review encourages electronic submissions. And it states here, we will only accept paper submissions from active subscribers. So yeah, I recall again, I had to, do a subscription and then I submitted, yeah. But if you have any questions, again, you can always ask. The one thing I will say, um, I like to see sites updated and things like that. So the only thing I ran into here, it's when it clicks here, subscribe to our journal, it takes you to this oh no page. So I don't know if they're gonna change that one day or if that page is getting updated or what. But yeah, in any case, just an example of a place that you know has subscriber only options too. On top of, they have other call windows, I'm sure, but I can't recall if those were all um, subscription in place of fees, right? So they have you sign up for subscription in place of reading fees. So yeah, there are a couple other lit magazine journals in the world that do that too. And yeah, I will say, I'm not entirely sure again about, whether they just take US based missions too. I think that needs to be, um, specified, I think, a little bit on this because it wasn't entirely clear to me. Um, yeah, if they take submissions from others, around the world or not. I don't know. I did was poking around, I did look at some poets' bios and stuff, and that can sometimes help you see too if they take international submissions, but you always just want to double check that. I can't remember. Sorry guys. But yeah. In any case, New Ohio Review is awesome, yeah, and so check them out. Real quick, I want to show you Mid American Review. Now, earlier in the podcast, this episode, I mentioned Bowling Green State University, which I graduated from, right? And yeah, so they have, MAR. So I think I can't remember when they started. So, oh yeah, so 1972. And yeah, that is really cool. Um, so it's part of, the creative writing program of Bowling Green State University, similar to, New Ohio Review, right? They are part of the, the creative writing program at Ohio University, So Bowling Green is, this is their Lit Mag and Journal, right? Yeah. So I think that's really cool, They've been around quite some time, You can read about it. I won't go into to the details of Mid American Review, but just an example of another, lit mag and journal that is tied to, a creative writing program. This one, yeah. So I think that's neat. A lot of universities out there I come across. Quite a few of them have creative writing programs, and then lit mag and journals that are established through that, or tied into that. So yeah, I think that's neat. So every university again has a different, not all university, tied lit mags or journals are using the same submission system. Obviously, I think Mid American Review uses Submission Manager, and that's like sub MGR. What their logo looks like. And I covered that in a couple episodes back, even an article. I've never used Submission Manager. Just it's called Submission Manager itself. It's just that's the name. And yeah, so I've never really used that one besides just that as a submitter. I'm not sure what that looks like on the back end as an editor, but yeah. So yeah, they do. I think they do have a mail way, but I think they typically say, um, you know, they only accept things through their submission management system. But from time to time, you may see, read the guidelines. I haven't gone through it myself, or anything like that. But quite a lot of cool lit magazine journals, tied to creative writing programs, at university. This is Bowling Green's, and this is Ohio University's. It was produced by Ohio University Creative Writing Program, and Bowling Green's creative writing program, right, tied in is Mid American Review. So, if wherever you may be located in the world, right, if there is a university near you, or, a college even, you could check, and see if they have a lit mag or journal, at that university and stuff. You could do a keyword search like the university name, lit mag, or literary journal, literary arts journal, and yeah, you might come across some that way too. That's really cool. Yeah. So I think that's awesome. That there have been some long-standing literary arts journals. Like New Ohio Review and Mid American Review. That's really cool and awesome to see again, because um, it's tough. For literary arts journals to stay up and going that long. So I really like seeing that. Yeah. Anyways, that's all I have for this episode. I just want to tack that on. I don't know if I'll do a separate episode on Mid American Review, but I just wanted to touch base on it. So, yeah, and walk you through just a couple things. Give you an example of some literary journals produced by university creative writing programs, right? So, yeah, these were I mainly focused on New Ohio Review, but again, maybe I'll circle back to Mid American Review. Oh, guys, I was also just thinking, I was wondering actually, if the college, or I should say, university my parents attended, had a literary magazine, So Walsh University was formerly known as Walsh College. At some point in time, they had a name change way, way back. But yeah, it looks like they do. This is like, I think, in archives of it. I think this is, I could be wrong, but it looks like it. It looks like they have, I don't know if they currently do, but it looks like at some point in time they had, see, it says Walsh College literary magazine. So I think, and look at this, release spring. So they had it like a lot of literary magazines. It just goes to show you, I don't know if this is, if they have a continued series of, I think they have other publications, universities and stuff like that, that students partake in. I'm not sure, but this just goes to show you, look at this year here, and the I think this is part of the Ohio archive site, so yeah, this is a public page. I'm not logged into anything, but um yeah, it goes back, way back. See the year here, 1975, 1988. These issues, right? I think that's really, really amazing, yeah, so I just wanted to state that real quick, and yeah, now bye guys, now bye, take care, yeah. And yeah, be sure to check out New Ohio Review, and yeah, and the others. I'm unaware of, like, if they have any. It says like on chill subs, no eligibility requirements specified, so I don't know, because sometimes, it's not entirely clear about that on some lit magazine journals, like location wise. So you may just want to like verify that if you ever, are like, hey, I wonder, I'm located here, I'm not located in the US. I'm wondering if I can submit, right? That's a common, we had a common question, right? Again, at Dippity Lit Mag, right? If we only take submissions from those in Nevada, or if we take submissions from just those in the US. But no, we at Dippity Lit Mag take submissions from, all around the world. And I'm not sure about New Ohio Review. I can't remember. I apologize again. But def check them out. And yeah,